Okay, Kylo wants more RTFM, and who am I to refuse? So one of the first things that we saw in the manual is that we immediately run into these instruction encodings. And like I said, I don't really know why they would put that up front ahead of the things like the actual assembly instructions themselves. That doesn't seem like necessary information, at least for us software and firmware type people, but maybe hardware architects want to know that. I'm not sure. So they show us stuff like this, the R-type encoding, the I-type encoding, the S-type encoding, but they also don't actually say anywhere, as far as I can tell, in the entire manual, where those names come from. You can infer it, but why should you have to infer it? That's what the documentation is for. It's supposed to tell you what it means. So once again, we play the inference game. We go and we find a different location in the manual talking about the compressed 16-bit RVC instruction formats. And within that context, we see things like CR, meaning the register encoding, compressed register encoding, CI for immediate, CL for load, CS for store, CA for arithmetic, branch, jump. And so we can take these names and inferences of these letters and apply them back to the RISC-V, and J type encodings. So we would infer that the R type has to do with register, so register type encoding. And indeed, if we look across all of these possible encoding types, we see that the R type is the only one that has 3 full-size registers specified. We have a destination, we have a source, and we have a source 2, so 3 possible register values. In contrast, we have the immediate type encoding, where you've got your 12-bit immediate, and I said earlier in the class that's one of the most common sizes, 12-bit immediates. 12-bit immediate, source 1, and destination. And so we could see this being used, for instance, for the add I or the XOR I, because you'll have a 12-bit immediate, a source for a register that is being XORed or added to the immediate, and then a destination where it's stored. The S type for store instructions like store word, store half word, store byte. The B type for branched instructions like branch if equal, branch if not equal, branch if less than. The J for jump type, so this can be used for the JAL instruction. And then there's one more that we couldn't infer what the name stood for based on the compressed versions, but based on where we see this used elsewhere in the code, we can infer that the U type is for upper. So upper meaning like LUI, Louis, for load upper immediate, or OEPC for add upper immediate to PC. Those situations where you're going to have 20 bits specified as a upper 20 bits of an immediate. But it's also worth saying, for instance, that this U type is used for JALer. So jump is used for JAL, but U type is used for JALer. Again, not again, I'm saying this down here. So the upper for load immediate and OEPC, but I don't think it's actually necessary to memorize, oh, this instruction is U type, that instruction is B type. No, it's not important to memorize that, but it is useful to get a sense of there's a very limited number of instruction encodings, and so this makes it easier for the hardware to like pluck apart, here's some, 32 bits, and how am I supposed to interpret this? And so sometimes for certain opcodes, it could say, okay, well, I know now based on this opcode that it's, and maybe based on this opcode and this minor opcode, as we'll talk about in a little bit. I know now, okay, well, these bits are going to be a destination register, and these bits are going to be a source, or these bits are destination, and this is an immediate. So instruction decoding can be made more simple by the fact that there's this very limited number of different instruction encodings.